All right. Well, this is Prairie Views, where we interview employees of Prairie Engineers. And today, my guest is Abed Nkem. And I hope I said that right. I asked him several times, but we'll see. He'll probably correct it and make sure you understand it correctly. But Abed, would you introduce yourself and tell a little bit about what you do for Prairie?
Thank you. Yeah, I think you said that right. It's Abed Nkem. Yeah, and I'm a hydrographer, or a hydrographic surveyor for Prairie, and um, I've been out, a lot of time, and people are always asking, "What is hydrographic survey?" When I tell people I'm a hydrographer, they're curious, like, "What do we do?" Sometimes people don't really understand what we do. Probably the name sounds too ambiguous to the ears. Anyways, so I put it this way for most people, like all we do is just mapping any water body. We just map the rivers, map the ocean, any water body at all within the state or outside the state. And when we say mapping, we're just, investigating every areas in the water. We're trying to get informations like depth, trying to see if if the water or the area is safe enough for navigation or for any construction work. And that's basically what I do here in Prairie.
Yeah. Like it's seeing under the water and even up in the banks and everything that is associated with the water, correct? Whether it's man-made or just natural.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why I use the word any water body, because we are not just limited to the river, we're not limited to the ocean or sea. It could just be an artificial lake. It could be even a bigger swimming pool, whatever. Yeah, if you need us to come check what is under your swimming pool, we'll be happy to do that for you. So we just, ready to work anywhere you have water. I mean, when I say what I mean, large enough water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I love the first question I'm going to ask you because of the uniqueness of what you're surveying and all the different places that you've been. So what is the most interesting place that you've ever surveyed?
Well, for me, I think that would be Coolidge Dam Reservoir, located in Globe City, somewhere in Arizona.
Hmm.
Um, it was, yeah, a kind of natural beauty for me. Um, the fact that it was a fun trip, it took us more than a day to arrive that location. But also, when we got there, we realized the place is kind of sitting at almost 3,000 feet above sea level. And then where we had to survey was like, a dam reservoir. And we actually put in our boat there, and surrounding that area is like almost 5,000 feet of mountains. It was a beautiful sight to behold and to be in. So I keep remembering that. And also the uniqueness of, the dam structure itself, the fact that it has a dome shape design. Oh, that makes the whole environment so unique. And the mountains had this unique unique plant feature they call cacti on them,
Hmm.
and it just made the environment very naturally beautiful. And I didn't want to leave. Honestly, it was so beautiful to behold. I still recollect and I still remember the whole area. It's a beautiful thing, and I
Yeah.
think that's the most beautiful area I've ever seen.
I've seen some
Also,
pictures
Vito.
and some video
Hmm.
from that project, and I know, yeah, it's of course pictures and video don't do it justice when you're sitting in the middle of it, but
Exactly.
yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, you need to be there to see it yourself.
Yeah. So what's something that a client has requested that just like one of the most bizarre or unusual requests that a client's made, and how did you respond to that?
Um, we had a project where a client, I mean, it wasn't like a project, but a client reached out to us and was asking for something almost, I don't want to use the word impossible, but I would say probably technology have not been able to find solution to it yet. Um, so basically what we do, part of what we do is we do what we call scanning of underwater structures. We do scanning of, um, to identify if there are any potential objects under the river. And then when we do most of these scans, we produce a 2D or 3D images. Those images, the resolutions depends on a lot of factors. The depth, it depends on the turbulent water, it depends on all kinds of things. And this client reached out and was asking for a more higher resolution, so high as in one of the most highest resolutions I've ever seen. A resolution that could almost like you could see a dot of a grain of a salt in the water. That's
Oh,
how
wow.
much of a resolution he wants. He wants to see like every little crack on the wall or something. But the good thing about Prairie Engineers is that no matter how um, you know impossible some request may sound, we still try to do some little research and see if there are any possibility to that. And I remember we reached out to a lot of vendors, reached out to all the manufacturers to know if they have anything that could, provide such kind of, amazing, impossible, almost
Do you know what was
impossible.
motivating? Yeah, what was motivating his request? Do you know?
They just want to see every details of the wall. They want to know if there is crack in the wall. They want to know if there's any potential, crack in the structure. They just want to see every details, and I get it. And it's because the area also is a kind of a difficult area. I would say it's a turbulent water. It's not a clean and clear water. You have all kinds of turbidity and um, you know, debris all around. So it's kind of difficult to see. It's difficult to scan and get all the kind of details you want. So,
So were
but
we able to at least satisfy him to somewhat of a
absolutely.
degree?
I mean, we ended up trying. I think we brought in so many sonars. We tried different sonars, and we did all kinds of scan, but we ended up getting something close enough, but not you know, to the
Yeah,
point of what he was expecting. And yeah, we ended up doing a very amazing job, and we delivered the data, and they were happy with what they saw. But I mean, not as crazy as they were expecting, though. But
right, right. So what's something about what you do that you're like when you try to explain it to your friends or your family, it's like just something they don't understand about your job. They have a hard time getting it.
you know, something I think my family or most people don't understand is the fact that they don't understand the risk involved in the job. Um, Most times when I tell my wife or tell my family, hey, I'm traveling and I'm going to be on the water for a long time, the expression on their face makes me understand like they don't know what it is I'm facing. Um, there are so many hazards, so many risks associated with our job. The fact that when you are in the boat and in the middle of the river, anything could go wrong. And one thing is that when anything goes wrong, if it's not properly corrected, it could become a very big hazard or a problem. So
Yeah.
I think that's what they don't understand. I've something just came to mind. I took my wife to the river one time, and then he saw how big the river was, and I told him this is where I survey every day. He said, "You don't mean it." you know, I could see the expression on her face. You mean you come
Yeah.
here every day? So um, it makes me, feel like they don't really understand because they are not there. They've not been on the boat. Some of them haven't really see what we go through being in that kind of environment. We've been in a situation where there's so many inflow of currents, turbulent rivers, and all that kind of stuff, and so sometimes it could be very risky. But I'm
Yeah.
sure they don't understand.
Because sometimes the job actually demands that you're on the water when most people would not want to be on the water, say in flood
Absolutely,
conditions, or there's a
absolutely,
lot of debris in the water that could be hazardous to the boat, a lot of
absolutely,
those
absolutely.
conditions.
Absolutely. Sometimes
Yeah.
I think of ourselves like first responders. So
Hmm.
I look beyond what we do as a job, whether like, we're trying to help the community or trying to help, human life. So let's say a barge got grounded somewhere on the river. We are the first to go out there to see, what happened, what could be the reason why it got grounded. Could it be it got shallow, or was that an object? Sometimes it just require a little bit of scan. Sometimes it just require a little bit of depth sounding. So, but whatever it is, we're like the first people to jump on it, and no matter the condition, we're always there. We're always there.
Yeah.
We risk everything to be there.
Yeah. So thinking about those conditions, what's a time, can you think of a time when a project did not go as planned? And what did you learn from that experience?
Honestly, since I've been here with Prairie, I wouldn't say there was actually a time a project didn't go as planned. But I would put it this way, like, so that's one good thing about Prairie is that we always find solutions to every problems, no matter how tough they become. So I was in a project where we were supposed to scan a that was like a train track, um, and then we we had gone with a particular device. I think that was a Velodyne puck, and then we were able to put everything together. But by the time we started scanning, we were losing, position fix, and we had all kinds of challenge. And then by the time we finished, the data came back not really looking good. We couldn't meet, the kind of expectation or desired result we want. So the good thing is, if we try this option, it didn't work out. What we do is we come back, we re-strategize and try another option. And so we always, always have a way of re-strategizing. If option A doesn't work, option B definitely works. So I wouldn't say it didn't work as planned, but I would put it like maybe initially the initial plan didn't work out, but the other plan did work
Yeah. You, your answer reminds me one of the core values of our company is
out.
having a can-do attitude. And
Yep,
all the employees that I've interviewed thus far, it seems pretty obvious they'll find a way to make sure that it works. Even if the first plan doesn't work, well, let's go to plan B and get it to work. Or
exactly.
if that didn't work, and that's something I think that's pretty special about working here
Hmm.
is it's not just a value that we put on the wall or put in marketing
It's a
literature. It's
culture.
like something that, yeah, people actually live
Hmm.
that value out. So
Yep.
that's a really good story about that. Um, so what's a project that you're like really proud of? Something that you're just, wow, this was a really cool project.
That would be the project we did down in Puerto Rico. That was two
Mm,
years ago. Um, the good thing about the project is, and I'm so proud of, um, what we did, is the fact that it was an emergency project. It came after the Hurricane Ian hit Puerto Rico very bad, and then we were mobilized to go and do them do some bridge scanning, just to see if there's any potential scour at the bridge. And then tasked with the we were also tasked with doing some measurement to determine the flood line and delineate the level of the flood line. So it was an amazing task, amazing project. But what I'm so proud is the fact that we had a lot of limitations. We're not allowed to go with our boats. We're not allowed to go with some equipment. So we ended up going there like with all kinds of, I mean, almost like barehanded, like we had nothing. So we had to build everything from the scratch. We built our boat from the scratch. We had to customize the boat to fit our needs. We have to configure all our devices to work. So we're like starting from the scratch. And that gave me like a lot of belief and you know a lot of confidence to know that I don't think there's anything we couldn't do. I mean, if we really mean to do anything, honestly.
yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I can see why you'd be proud of that for sure, because
Hmm.
you're having to go in kind of blind, so to speak, and just
Exactly.
innovate
Hmm.
on the fly.
It
That's
was so
good.
innovative. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, so this will be my last question for you because our time is getting pretty close. But what advice would you maybe have for someone who's listening to this interview and thinking about wanting to work for Prairie Engineers? What kind of advice would you give to someone considering working with us?
Honestly, I've been here at Prairie for more than 5 years now, and one thing I've learned about this company is they pride themselves in teamwork, and it's something I have experienced. If you are a person that can thrive in working, among teams, and then you have this I can do attitude. One thing also I've seen here is the fact that I've never seen the company back down or back away from any challenge or from any job. We are more like a problem solver. So if you are that kind of person, I think this is the right place for you.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Abed, I really appreciate your time today. It was really good to visit with you,
Thank
and
you.
thank you so much. And I know as a hydrographic surveyor, it's
Mhm.
hard to find time to
Mhm.
even spend 15 minutes because you guys are so busy and all over
Right.
the place. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so this is Prairie Views, where all the engineers are strong, all the land surveyors are good looking, as evidenced, and all
Right.
the scientists are above average. All right, we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yep, bye bye.